Hello pomade lovers, here to do another review for you today, and it's one I've been looking forward to doing all week. I think you'll know what's coming if you are on EP or PE on the Facebook pages. I'm going to be reviewing the Flagship Reform. So just to quickly go over it, there's probably quite a lot to talk about this. I'm going to try not to rabbit on for too long, but just a quick overview. If you don't know Flagship, if you're new to pomade or you're not in those groups, Flagship's one of the biggest homebrew pomade companies, and Flagship is probably their flagship product. It is an unorthodox water-based pomade, and it's a heavy hold, although now we're still describing it as a heavy, but also I've seen it when you read it on the website, it's also described as like a strong hold or a firm to strong hold, but it still says heavy here on the packaging. So this is, I believe, although don't quote me on it, the fourth reform of Flagship. You had 3 of them. Don't think I ever got the original one. But I think this would be the 3rd different formula that I have had. So a lot of you will want to know what is the differences or similarities between this and the most recent formula, which I do actually have here as well. So if we just look packaging wise, obviously it's changed a lot. They're both still 4 ounces. This one's the amber glass jar with the gold lid, the gold lettering and all that jazz. Now he's gone to a plastic container. The reason being, I believe, is although obviously people think if it comes in a glass jar, blimey, someone's just gone past in a rude boy car. People think that because it's in a glass jar that it's more environmentally friendly, but as far as I'm aware from what I've read, I think it's actually because of the weight of the glass jars, and I think like the energy that it costs, to make them and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't actually work out much greener to use the glass. So it's gone to the plastic. I believe that's the case. Again, don't quote me on it. My information might be bad, but I think I read that somewhere. So that's the difference in the packaging. It's a big old jar, this new one. You look, it's almost, if you compare it to like a oil-based slip tin kind of a jar, it's the same diameter, but it's a lot taller compared to the glass jar. So it feels big and chunky and hefty in your hand, which is nice. In terms of the actual ingredients, what's changed is that rather than, it's almost exactly the same, couple of the same ingredients, but a few things sort of swapped around. The big change is that rather than using Candelier wax, which I hope I'm saying right, Wade is now using bran wax. So again, if you're familiar with Flagship, you will know that some of the formulas in the past have had some issues. Flagship is in my top 3 unorthodox water-based pomades. I've always loved it. So along with Grimgree's medium, and I love Iva Brew's unorthodox water-based pomades. It's always been one of my absolute favourites. It was the first one I ever got, and I absolutely love it. But there has been some issues with it in the past, which I think Wade has always been very upfront about, as far as I can tell. One of the early issues was an issue with the scooping, and with this one, there was an issue with the Candelier wax not, I don't know what the word is, like melting down or distilling down properly during the brewing process. So you would be left with some balls of the Candelier wax in it, which actually I did get in this one here. That, as far as I'm aware, was due to where Wade was buying it from had changed their sources, so it maybe wasn't as high a quality as what he'd been getting before. So again, not his fault. It's the place that he was getting from changed where they were getting it from. There's nothing you can do about that. So he's now using bran wax rather than the Candelier wax. A lot of people have said that this one is taking it back to what the OG was like. I didn't use that, so I can't say to that either way. But a lot of people are saying this is taking it back to more like what the OG was like. So if we open it up and look inside, it's a quite darkish grey. I don't know if you're able to see inside this one. I mean, I've gone through, oh, you can't see inside it. So if we look, I'm not giving me camera, not very professional. So it's a sort of a dark, almost like a, to my eye, almost like a bluey kind of a grey to it. The scoop on it is very easy, comes out no problem at all. And then it's really like smooth, and you can feel a bit of tackiness in your hand when you're putting it in. I'll show you compared to this one. This one scoops still pretty smooth. That might be down to the candelier wax not being into it properly, if you know what I mean. But so that's all the differences in my hand. Might be the old one off. So yeah, so it scoops really easily and it breaks down really easily into your hand. It feels, if we're going to compare it to the old formula, it feels stickier and a bit tackier than the old formula. But it goes in nice and easy. I'm doing this on damp hair. Goes in with very minimal effort. Which again, with the old formula, there was a bit more resistance going in because it felt, in my opinion, the old formula, it did feel heavier. So sort of, I guess I'll get into that now. If we're talking about how it feels in the hair, this, once it's in, it does feel more sort of like what you would call a firm stronghold. So I mean, these terms are open to interpretation. Every brewer's, the way they use terminology is different. But I can see why he's sort of using firm and strong rather than heavy, and it's not a bad thing. It holds up extremely well. But whereas this formula and probably the one before it felt like a proper heavy, because it was that, you put it in your hair, you set your hair, and it would not budge an inch. And I mean, like, it's raining heavily here today, windy. You could go out with that one and it would not budge. So that was sort of like a true heavy, in my opinion. Because yeah, it would stand up to anything. I mean, and like almost to the point where like you could like do your hair like this and it wouldn't even move. Whereas this one, although it absolutely holds up all day, it's got that more natural malleability to it, where, say if a big gust of wind hit you, it might knock your pump down, but you could very easily comb it back up into the shape. So it kind of depends what you're favouring. What you're favouring. I mean, there's advantages and disadvantages to both. I think this new formula gives me a much better shape to my pompadour. If you're in EP or PE, you'll have seen on Facebook I posted up that first day that I used it, and you just get a really nice round shape. So it kind of, like a firm hold wood, it works more with the natural characteristics of your hair and accentuates them, rather than what the last formulation did, which was it's just like brute strength. It's just like you can just get your hair to do anything because it's just so strong. So advantages and disadvantages to both. Personally, like if I'm going for that just pure brute strength, boom, don't want my hair to hold, don't want my hair to move, I'd probably just use an oil base. I'll just use something like the Ruzel Pink or like Dax Red or anything like that. If I want it to not budge an inch, I would just go for that rather than an unorthodox water-based pomade. So that's, it's subjective, but I, again, personally prefer this new version in that sense because I think it makes my hair look better. The overall style looks better in the end. Okay, I'm chatting too much and I've lost track of how many scoops I've done. Just from the feel, I think I could probably do with one more little one. Oh, so then the scent. I got chrome, which is inspired by an eau de toilette by a fragrance company whose name I cannot remember. But it's a really nice scent. It's fresh and clean. Oceanic, I think, is one of the words that was used, which I can get on board with. It's fresh and breezy and it's really nice. The only other scent I'd had before in Flagship was this sort of the standard scent that came with it, which I think was called like dark citrus rose or something, because I'd only ever bought it from UK vendors before and they only ever had that fragrance in, whereas this one I bought straight from the Flagship website because it had a discount code actually, which I don't know if this is still going, but I think it was Reform. Don't know if they're still doing that. But yeah, the dark citrus rose, a lot of people used to sort of slag it off quite a lot. I didn't mind it. It wasn't my favourite scent, to be honest. It was quite musty, sort of floral kind of floral. I don't know. Kind of a scent, flowery kind of a scent. Yeah, it wasn't the best, but it was okay. This one is much nicer. I really like this one, and there's loads of scents available. Yeah, I'm really liking this one. So now combing it through, you can see comb is just gliding through like nobody's business. Absolutely no issue there at all. Comb that through. Go with this one. You can already see those sort of comb lines starting to come in really nicely. That's it. Now go at it with the pick. I've been wearing it more, well, the first couple of days I was wearing it more with a hard part, but now I've been doing more of just kind of the sweep over. It works well with both. What else can we talk about? Washability is, well, I'll talk about build up first. Why Flagship and Grim Grease Medium are my two, with Ivor's probably in third, probably my top two unorthodox water-based pomades, is because they truly do hold pretty much all characteristics of an oil base, other than the difficult washout, which is what you don't want. A lot of unorthodox water-based pomades do remain reworkable throughout the day and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of them you can't really build up. You can't get build up with them because it starts to just become messy or unworkable if you try to put it on top of, if you don't wash your hair, and you try to put it on top of it. This, what you can build it up like an oil base. So I think I did 3 or 4 days build up with it, and it was really nice. It was as an oil base would, you just use slightly less of it each day, to the point where on the 3rd or 4th day, literally like a tiny little scoop I just put in. Didn't probably even need to, but did anyway. So that is brilliant, because that is what you expect from an oil base, and not all unorthodox water-based pomades can do that. So that's a big plus for Flagship. And then in terms of the washability, if you're washing it out with only 1 day of use in it, 1 shampoo, no problem. If you're using sort of 3 or 4 days of build up on it, you might want to do the old rinse and repeat. But you don't need conditioner or Aussie Miracle or anything like that. It still comes out with just shampoo, but yeah, you might just need to do a couple of rinses. But with that, while I've been jabbering on and not even really concentrating on what I'm doing, it's pretty much done. So in terms of ease of use and ease to start with, I mean, you can't really ask for it to be much easier than that, can you? Really nice round shape, excellent volume. So just no fuss at all with that. So, if you want something where, you want to just get up and throw it in your hair, that's happy days, isn't it? Not too high up. So, I think as you can already tell, I'm loving this new reform. I will come back though and just I'm already running on 15 minutes, I can see, but I'll come back and show you at the end of the day how it holds up and everything, and do like the final sort of summary of what I think of it. So I shall see you later on. Bye bye for now. Okay, so here we are towards the end of the day. Change locations because it's getting a bit dark and dreary up in the bedroom where I normally would record. So this is about 8 hours later. As you can see, it's holding up absolutely perfect. I've recombed it once, and that wasn't because it started to fall down or anything. That was just because it actually if you're just starting on the damp hair, once the hair dries and you give it another recomb, it actually looks better. You get more volume, more shape, and everything. It's been windy, raining, everything. It's thrown all of the Northern Irish weather at this, and as you can see, it's holding up amazing. So yeah, couldn't really ask for anything more. Also, I should mention as well, if you're on EP or PE, you'll have seen that I did 2 scoops on dry hair, which gives a really nice textured look. It has got a natural finish to it. Natural, yeah, definitely not even like cologne shine. It's very natural. It doesn't add any shine, doesn't take any shine away. So again, if you're looking for your really high shine products, stick to your oil bases really. This has just got a nice natural finish to it, so you can get away with doing that. I just did 2 tiny scoops on dry hair, finger combed it all back, and just got a real nice loosey-goosey finger comb style because it hasn't got the shine that makes that kind of style look weird. So yeah, overall, absolutely fantastic product. I've always loved Flagship ever since I've used it a couple of years ago, and this formula is, I would say, by far the best out of anything that I've used. It's really versatile. You can do loose, you can do structured styles like this. It's so easy to work with. It's heavy, but it doesn't brutalize your hair in the sense that it just, it makes it just like a block. It's still like natural. You can still see the natural characteristics of my hair, but it's keeping everything perfectly in place. I've literally just come out of the rain. You can really still see the rain in my hair. So yeah, if you're a Flagship lover and you were a bit worried about this reform, which I was, go for it. If you've never used Flagship before, go for it. It's fantastic. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da for now. Bye.